Lissandra banned out here. Not a ban that we've seen at all today, but it has been picked a few times. And in fact, it was Recycle, I believe, was on it earlier, or am I making that up? Someone was on it earlier anyway. But Lissandra, very strong at the minute, purely because you can flex it so easily.
Yeah, and Lissandra definitely can flex, and she's so powerful coming in on the flank as well from that top lane. Usually, she comes from that top lane position because she is one of those people that can be impactful with the teleport. Playing mid lane teleport is a little bit more difficult to make work because if you teleport, you are leaving the mid lane, which is such a crucial lane, completely exposed, and you can very easily lose that mid lane turret. It's going to be the Nidalee picked up early on here for Selena, so likely going to be Nidalee in the jungle. Try and maintain that 100% Nidalee win ratio that we've seen so far.
Yeah.
And it's going to be Alistair being picked up here potentially for the guys on TCA. See what they come through with their second rotation pick also.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what Cesar picks, because last time we saw him play, he was on that Elise and kind of got a bit bullied, to be honest. Didn't really have a great time of it. We'll see what he goes for. Obviously, Gragas is available. We've seen Gragas a whole lot today. Rek'Sai still available, a champion that we've not seen him at all today, but has typically been very popular recently.
Yeah, and Rek'Sai, as you say,
there we go.
Gets
Speak of the devil.
Gets locked in for Cesar. We'll have to see. So Selena probably got that Nidalee. Will we see Vicky pick her champion? Vixie pick her champion. She can potentially pick something up here. They're going to go for the Lucian though, for Sam Hodge, which is something I think suits him far better. You know, he'll have a little bit more impact in the earlier stages of the game compared to the Cogmore, where kind of got crapped on, if I'm completely honest. It's probably a nice way of putting it, to be fair.
I think that game versus Manolite was one of the more convincing games of the day. Let's word
Renegades,
it like
Banditos, and Manolite both had very convincing wins today. They look strong. They look very strong.
I'm almost sad that they're kind of in opposite ends of the bracket, so
You'd
we
like
don't
to
see the best of three between Manolite and Banditos.
Stay tuned to the ESL Premiership and you will see that clash.
Or will you? Because neither of them are qualified just yet.
Very true. I'm speaking, but I'm going based on what I expect to see happen. You know,
it is likely.
It is likely. Both teams are very strong. I think the Null definitely could have a chance at throwing a spanner in there because they looked pretty polished going up against XL in that first round. So Titans definitely could exploit some of the mistakes we saw from Banditos, because we did see over-aggression, we did see a little bit of overconfidence from Banditos this time. And it is exploitable, so, you know.
Look at the kind of knock-up combo that we've got coming out here for TCA.
Just need a Yasuo now, but it's going to be it's likely going to be a Corki mid, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I think maybe
can go to AD carry position, obviously.
You could even run something like a Cogmore in this kind of composition. Like, there's so much peel there to run something like a Cogmore.
Yeah,
you've already got a Corki, which is the kind of long-range poke style that you want to.
And also gives you that mid-game, early-game transition. So you know.
Definitely could be something, or possibly like a Caitlyn. We've seen a lot of Caitlyn coming into play, so that could definitely be
mainly to deal with the Lucian for sure.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean you've got that strong laning phase to play against that Lucian, who is just so terrifying. But Fiora slipped through the bands.
Not seen a Fiora, and she does do well against Malphite. There's very little Malphite.
She does well against everything.
She does do well against everything. You know, Malphite can build those resistances, but as soon as that ultimate comes down, that is percentage true-based health damage every time you proc a vital.
Yeah.
It's a scary lane to try and hold your own against.
It certainly is.
But that is the entire composition coming out from Pariah here. And now we're just waiting for TCA to lock in.
So Ari going to be going in the mid lane here for Vixie up against Hatung. Now, Hatung, or not necessarily Hatung, but we saw Ari versus Corki earlier on today.
Yeah.
And it definitely felt like Corki had a pretty significant advantage. Maybe it was more the player matchup rather than the
I think pre-6 Corki
matchup.
Definitely has a pretty significant advantage. Yeah. Post-6, it really depends on what is hit and what isn't during a little engage. You know,
a whole lot of skill shots there, yeah.
If Phosphorus Bomb misses, Corki's lost so much of
his... Which it's very easy to dodge when you've got Spirit Rush as well.
It is, and it's actually going to be Corki AD carry because they have given Hatung the LeBlanc here.
LeBlanc Ari.
LeBlanc Ari is a bit of a skill matchup.
I love this matchup.
It's a super skill matchup because if you can charm the LeBlanc, she's practically dead.
I think this is my favourite mid matchup.
Is it really? Yeah, it's very skill based, which is what makes it so interesting.
It can go either way. Like most matchups these days, it's kind of like this guy definitely has an advantage, and it's more like about team compositions. This one is very much like both of them can solo kill, Both of them can bait for jungle pressure, but both of them want to kill. That's the key thing. They want to make those plays.
Yeah, and yeah, definitely very skill heavy.
And the 2 ignites.
In general, what you tend to see is if Ari can charm during distortion, it's a super advantageous position for Ari to be in. But obviously, you can try and duke out a lot of stuff with LeBlanc, and you do a lot of burst damage. So even when Ari's in Spirit Rush, you're quite highly mobile yourself. You can lock her down with the chains too. So even if you have her Spirit Rushing, you can get her locked up for a jungle gank. It is a super skill-based matchup. We're going to see Fiora go onto the. We're going to see Fiora go against the Malphite. Sorry, I just had one of our production staff apparently found out my water was still on camera, so it was kind of just like a small gremlin coming around the side of the desk. And, but no,
he's not small.
No, he's not small.
He's a gremlin, though.
Yeah, he's a bit of a gremlin. So let's have a look at these guys, Pariah and TCA. Look at the composition specifically. When you pick a Fiora, you're only ever going to split push. That is the only tactic of Fiora.
And then sweep up after a fight.
And sweep up after a fight.
Unless you're Alfari, and then you just go and 1v9 wherever you are.
Yeah, she can definitely team fight in a sense, but she's more of a split push champion. She's so good in a 1v1. She kind of is more exploited in a team fight because there's so much that she'll be having to face up against. She's quite easily burst out as well. Really depends on what she manages to riposte. And then you look at the rest of the comp. It's not exactly a huge team fight comp coming out from Pariah. Good skirmishing, really good skirmishing, and in a sense, kind of decent siege.
It's a very similar composition to what we saw out of Renegades earlier. It's just like super
all in. It's pretty all in.
Like it's like if we get just one kill early on, we are going to just win the game. We are just going to steamroll forwards, and if they can get that early gold, if they can get that snowballing, they're going to just be absolutely terrifying. But then on the other side, they've not exactly got an easy lineup to take down.
I know, and they've got a pretty decent team fight composition coming out. You know, you've got Pick. LeBlanc provides Pick herself. That's just generally what she can bring to the table. But she does team fight moderately well as well. Distortion can do I guess, deceptive amount of AoE damage in a composition like this, especially if you double it up with the Mimic. You can do quite a decent amount of AoE damage with double distortions. Yeah. So, you know, Malphite always brings team fight compositions to the table. You can try and perfect guy to, I guess, deal with split push in one way, but not deal with split push in the other. So you leave Malphite trying to duel versus Fiora in a solo lane, it's going to go badly for you. Use Malphite as an engage tool in the mid lane to try and force a 4 versus 5. You know, catch someone out and burst someone with the Corki and LeBlanc before Fiora can react with a teleport. Better way to deal with a split push composition. So we'll have to see. This is, I think, just based on how we've generally seen things going recently, I would probably give it over to Pariah. That's just purely based on what we've seen today. Nearly 100% win ratio. You know, people who do well in the laning phase generally tend to do well and snowball that into a win. And Fiora is always going to be strong. The later you let the game go, Fiora then can actually 1v9 regardless of who you are because she just does so much damage.
Okay, apparently, we've got quick stats coming through from Fridge Cake, the hero. And apparently, we have ESL Gremlin things. That'll be the Gremlin himself writing that hashtag. But you can, that's reminded me, you can tweet us with the hashtag ESL Prem to let us know who you think is going to take this 6th and final game of the day. It's TCA and they're up against Pariah. These guys are fighting for their lives at this point. They're fighting to stay in the tournament and to make it through into the regular season. But ladies and gentlemen, we are on to Summoner's Rift. And we are ready to get this game underway.
One team will join us tomorrow. One team will join Excel on the sidelines. And this is it's a big game for these guys. A lot to prove for both sides as well. Pariah coming. Both of these teams were in our ESL Premiership last year.
Yep.
So, you know, neither are
how the mighty have fallen.
Neither are going to want to go home empty-handed here.
No, absolutely not. And I mean, as well, let's bear in mind that what's at stake is a challenger slot. This is a way for people to get into the LCS. I mean, in the long term of things, these guys definitely don't want to be losing out on that opportunity, their way into professional play, from turning their hobby into a career. But we'll see who's going to be able to take this one. Just very standard level 1 coming out here. We are going to see Giblet And Raisins are looking to go ahead and go for that sort of minion manipulation that we've seen coming out in Korea. And we're starting to see here in the UK, seeing we're never too far behind Korea.
Never too far behind Korea here in the UK, as they are going to just try and manipulate these minions, keep them good. This is another good example of it. They're just keeping those minions from getting to lane. They're separating that singular melee minion that will go down quicker, and then the lane will push slightly towards them after they have taken Gromp. And they're actually doing it quite a lot here. That minion has separated itself quite a considerable amount.
Blimey O'Reilly, that is a
Blimey
decent split coming out from that one. And we're just going to see, other than that, very, very standard starts coming out from these guys. We'll see how this one's going to affect things, whether that makes a big difference to the laning phase. Both AD carriers going to be able to grab their Krugs and Gromp respectively and head on into that lane. But look at that, it's already pushing towards them. They are in fact 2 CS up because of that as well.
Yeah, so there we go.
Good stuff.
They're going to get good stuff there. Yeah, they're going to go into lane. They should hit that level 2, and they're not going to go all in, I don't think, at level 2, not versus a Lucian Braum. It's a little bit too risky, but it is nice to have that lane push towards you, just so you can get the slight positional advantage in lane. And actually, you can see here it has worked out well for the guys from TCA.
It certainly has, and here we go. We see Vixie getting aggressed upon a little bit by Haytoon, but trades that back pretty comfortably there. So even Stevens just about in the mid lane. Actually, LeBlanc taking a whole lot of damage, does have those health potions to play with. Would love to see him use one of those, but Cesar hiding out on the side of this lane. He's looking for an opportunity to get in onto Vixie. Vixie has hit level 3, so wouldn't be too surprised to see him try and go aggressive here. This could be a really nice bait from Haytoon. If he can land a chain, Vixie could be in trouble. There's the flash. The chain does land. That's going to be the Sigil of Malice as well, and Vixie goes down for first blood. Haytoon picking that one up, and LeBlanc is not the opponent you want to be grabbing first blood.
No. She was waiting for level 3. She needed that ethereal chains to get the lock up onto Ari, and a bit of an early flash from Vixie. I think you had to flash to avoid the ethereal chains, or flash for nothing really. Unfortunately, Selena was taking the wraiths, or rather the Razorbeaks, so wasn't quite in the position to get the counter gank off, as Giblet and TCA Raisins just doing their job in the bot lane. This is the second game that Raisins has played Alistair. So played a couple of games, or played a game of Alistair already so far.
And Raisins had some incredibly good Alistair play in his first game. We had multiple multi-man knockups. We had flash pulverizers onto 3 people. Definitely not a guy that you want to underestimate here. And we'll see whether he's going to be able to kind of repeat that performance in this game here. But we are going to see Selena Swift looking for an opportunity to come into this bottom lane. Is going to be spotted out by that ward, and immediately we see them try and react to this one. Giblet incredibly low. One more auto attack will stun him, but it looks like he's got away with this one, and Raisins manages to protect his AD carry.
Yeah, he does. Good job of body blocking right there. True bodyguard in the form of Raisins Cow.
I feel like Alistair's probably, aside from Braum, I think Alistair's the most bodyguardy kind of champion.
Yeah, and actually Vixie, both of them missed the siege minions right there. Haytoon gets the first blue buff.
UK scene.
Haytoon gets the first blue buff of rotation here, putting pressure onto Vixie. She's having a bit of a difficult time in this lane you're seeing here, not able to land the charm, not be able to get much return damage. And this is the kind of thing that happens in this matchup. You know, you have to be able to land that charm on the distortion, otherwise LeBlanc does just get that free damage down.
Yeah, absolutely. We are going to see a short pause coming out here, and we'll see what's going on with that one. I'm sure an admin or someone will message me shortly. We'll be able to let you guys know what the issue is. Well, let's take another quick look at our scoreboard so far in this game. We've got about an 800 gold lead in favour of TCA. So a good job there. I mean, we obviously saw Cesar coming in for the early gank, and Haytoon able to capitalise there. Haytoon has actually fallen ever so slightly behind in CS, though, off the back of that.
Yeah, he's fallen a little bit. I mean, 4 is almost negligible there.
I did say a little bit.
It's a tiny amount. Well, what's more important is the way that they're approaching the lane matchup right now, and Haytoon is definitely getting the better of it. That early blue buff going to allow him to consistently clear waves and poke as much as physically possible. And if, you know, Vicky doesn't start landing her charms, then she'll start to struggle in that lane. As soon as Ignite comes back up, you imagine that Haytoon's going to go aggressive. And yeah, it's looking good. They're already back into game now, ladies and gentlemen, so we'll be back onto the Rift and see some action between these two fantastic teams, basically fighting for their lives right now, Munchables.
Yeah, at least fighting for their competitive lives and competitive integrity. But we'll see. Actually, that's not really the right phrase, but you know. PJ Cesar is looking for another gank in this mid lane. Flash is already on cooldown. There's the knock-up. Any more skills will land, and it's going to be Hatung with the auto attack. He's going to be able to finish off the enemy mid laner once again. Hatung definitely feels like a player to kind of take with respect. Like both games, we saw him on his Zed as well. Despite them losing the game, he definitely didn't. It certainly wasn't the reason that they lost that game. He definitely felt like a terrifying player to go against. I mean, we saw that play in the bottom lane in their first game where he just like cleaned up a fight on Zed.
Yeah, I mean, this is super aggressive onto Vicky, and I could kind of imagine that this was going to happen. Just because Rek'Sai can have that impact with the ethereal chains from LeBlanc early on before Ahri hits level 6. LeBlanc is that kind of heavy burst champion that can do this kind of thing to your mid laner.
Yeah.
Forcing the early Negatron's cloak and no second Doran's ring for Vicky as well. So she's going to be a little bit behind in the early portion of this game and going to definitely need some help if she wants to get further ahead. But you kind of have to make the decision as Silly now. You've been late to the counter gank every single time so far. You're obviously going to have less impact, you know, against a highly mobile mid laner like LeBlanc. Maybe you should focus your efforts elsewhere. Maybe you should start to counter jungle, get some deep vision down. Maybe you should approach top lane where you know the majority of your threat is going to come from. As Vicky again the target.
Oh dear, Vixie is not having a fun time right now. That's going to be another kill for Hatung. All 3 of his kills have been auto attacks as well. I feel like Hatung needs to just go Lich Bane purely as a I'm auto-attacking thing, but we are going to see them now push out this mid lane, and we'll see whether they're going to be able to really achieve much with this one. They definitely could start to pressure on Dragon with this massive lead for the LeBlanc.
And a lack of vision as well meant that King Shul may have thought that Fearless was simply going to ward, hadn't communicated properly to Vixie that he'd been gone for that amount of time, and they had no idea where he was either. She wasn't level 6, taken down with that Malphite ultimate. This is not looking good for Vixie as they start to move down towards Samhaj and Bartionope. Here comes the engage.
Yeah, it is indeed. Raisin's going to get stunned up here, but PJ Cesar is around to make sure that they can't go in onto that giant cow. They're going to be able to protect their support quite comfortably. Hey, Hatung is going in though. Bartiono is ignited. He's only on 200 HP. Looks like he will be able to survive this one for now, but Hatung, we've seen him do crazy stuff in the past already this game. Wouldn't be too surprised to see him go for anything insane, but is going to decide to back away in the end, and in the meantime Vixie pushing up this mid lane. Despite having 3 deaths, Vixie doing a very good job to stay even in CS here.
LeBlanc spent a lot of time out of lane. She's definitely keeping herself in the running against LeBlanc. You know, as an Ahri, sometimes, yes, when you're this far behind, it can feel really awful, but as long as you're able to land charms, you can still have some sort of utility. As King Shul going toe-to-toe with Fearless here, you're seeing the kind of might of Fiora with that Grasp of the Undying as well to provide a little bit extra sustain in lane. Gonna force Fearless back. He does have that teleport to get him back nice and safe into this top lane, however, as Selena trying to farm up on this Nidalee. She's not had much impact across the map.
No, and one thing that we've talked about a lot across the course of today with these Nidalees is you got to be counter jungling. If you're not ganking, you're counter jungling. That's what we were saying earlier. We've not really seen Selena
do
any counter jungling whatsoever, yeah, or ganking for that matter. So very defensive play on this Nidalee, and not really typically what you would want to see out of a Nidalee.
So they're going to get a free dragon here as well, because there's no way that the guys from PRA are in a position to contest. Going to lose a little bit of vision across this river area. I'm kind of you know, looking at the vision control right now, and it's all very centered around that mid lane, trying to keep Vixie as safe as possible, but the vision control from TCA is just far better. You know, you've got huge amounts around the dragon area, you've got a little bit of wards seeping into that red side jungle for Pariah. I mean, it's looking good in terms of vision control right now for TCA, and they are pinging out Nidalee as well, so you know that she's coming towards that mid lane. There's no chance of Hatung getting caught out.
No, none whatsoever. And here we go. We're going to see PJ Cesar heading up towards that top lane with the farm alarm, picks up his red buff and going to be moving on throughout that jungle, just making sure that he's staying relatively decent in CS. I mean, we kind of slammed Selena a little bit in terms of not ganking, not counter jungling, but is 11 CS up.
Yeah, has been farming, so that's a good thing. That is a good thing. But the problem is that you do struggle to hit power spikes early if you're just farming as a jungler. Unless you're Shyvana and you're farming things like...
power farming.
Yeah, you're absolutely farming things at the speed of light. It's difficult. Looks like a round the side gank on King Shul here.
Oh, there is indeed. King Shul is going to be going down there. Nice parry. The flash, actually. PJ Cesar is going to be able to return that one. In the meantime, Swift is down in this bottom lane. If he can land the spear onto Giblet, they're going to be in a great situation, but Giblet just Valkyries on out of there. But Raisins might not be as lucky. Does have his ultimate available, though. Unbreakable Will should keep him alive.
I've been super impressed with PJ Cesar on this rec side compared to his previous game. He has been super aggro in every single lane, finding all of those unique ganking paths that you can have as a Rek'Sai, and even doing a spot of counter jungling where possible. We're seeing our own spot of counter jungling, but he's going to get caught out.
Yeah, see, this is not a great time to be counter jungling because they know where you are. You've just been in the bottom lane, and now he's going to be spotted out. Selena Swift is going to be going down. Heytung grabs himself his 4th kill of the game. He's got 80% of this kill, if this game's kills right now. He's going to be able to find himself that blue buff as well, so he's going to be very happy with that one.
I agree with your analysis there. It's just not the time to be counter jungling. You know, you think that because you've lost pressure in the top lane that no one's going to spy you walking into the enemy jungle. You know, the vision control from TCA has been really good. You know, they've got good coverage of that river area. She was instantly spied when she was in there. You know, you've just been to that bot lane, and it's pretty obvious, especially if you walk over wards, where you're going to start heading, as King Shul looking again to go aggressive onto Fearless here.
Yeah, he's looking for the opportunities, but Fearless actually turning this one around pretty handedly, and King Shul just has to back on away. The Sunfire Cape has already been finished for Fearless to just the Tiamat in the hands of King Shul, so Fearless actually doing a very, very good job in this top lane as the Malphite up against that Fiora.
Already picked up that Sunfire Cape, which makes it difficult for Fiora to do elongated trades unless she's going for an all-in here. And you can see it, Shul unable to hit vitals after vitals, which is what's making it difficult for him to trade with the Malphite. He needs to all-in with the ultimate or nothing at all, and Bartionope and Sam Hodge again are the targets here.
Yeah, they're in a whole heap of trouble right now. Sam Hodge is going to be able to flash away, but Bartionope is not going to be anywhere near as lucky here. Giblet tanking up the tower a little bit. Bartionope is going to survive a little bit longer, but he's going to be going down. Fearless ends up taking the kill in the end. Would have liked to see that go over to Giblet, to be honest, but
good pressure in the mid lane, though. Good pressure in the mid lane. They're going to potentially get this mid lane turret. LeBlanc rotating up. Lucian is coming for the Pariah team. Here goes an engage.
Yeah, Cesar is going to be able to start this one off. The tower is still alive crucially right now.
Less than 5 health, surely.
Yeah, it's on very little hit points. We are going to see it's on 7 hit points.
7.
Does finally go down there in the end. But in the meantime, that's traded for that bottom lane tower. So pretty even trade there. And now look at this, a rotation up towards this top side of the map. Maybe towards trying to go for a tower dive onto Fearless. But he's a pretty tanky mountain right there up in that top lane, so I don't know if they're really going to be able to achieve too much. And actually, you're walking straight into a Malphite ultimate here, and the rest of his team is on their way. However, none of the carries are here. PJ Cesar just going to have to back away from this one.
On cooldown right now because of that engage in the bot lane.
Oh, yeah.
So they felt fairly safe going for that. Again, it's just looking like it's struggling for Pariah here. Way behind in the mid lane still, actually not even that far ahead in CS, even with all of the roaming from LeBlanc. And King Shul's been having a difficult time in this top lane too, up against this Malphite. A lane that, yes, is pretty difficult for Fiora in the early game, but she should eventually win out with that ultimate of hers. Yeah. Maybe at level 11 we'll see something slightly different happen. Definitely think he's either going to need Black Cleaver ASAP or finish off the wave clear as Selena.
Destroyed. That is going to be Heytung picking up yet another kill for himself. Already has that Abyssal Scepter, has the CDR boots as well. Bartiono just going to defend that tower for another little bit of time, but Heytung just jumps in to chunk him down to
Honestly,
half
this
HP.
guy's a beast.
Yeah.
He really is.
Fantastic LeBlanc player.
A really, really good mid lane player in general. I thought his Zed was very impressive too. Maybe decision making sometimes a little bit off, but mechanically very, very, very good. They're trying to defend this mid lane turret. Vicky is back. She's picked up that Abyssal Scepter. As PJ says, he's not going to give anything away.
Bartiono is in a lot of trouble. Unbreakable has been used. He's looking to jump over the wall and will do so straight into the hands of Heytung. Picks up his 6th kill of the game. The double hat trick coming in for him. And you're absolutely right. Fearless gets the double knock up, and look at that. The Corky Rockets coming through. They can't quite finish anyone. Sam Hodge finally going down. Grand challenge onto the Rek'Sai, but they can't finish that one off. They can't even proc a single vital. That is going to be a mid lane tower. They might even look for a second one.
This is potentially one of the most one-sided games that we've seen thus far in the tournament, and it's looking like TCA are running away with this. They are wanting to put themselves right back into contention to make it back into the ESL Premiership, and should they win this, I believe they'll face up against M&M tomorrow. For the chance, unless I'm completely mistaken.
Yeah, yes. No, I think you're right. Yeah.
Or they'll face the losers of the semi-finals.
They're both through into the round of 4, round of 2.
Yeah, so they'll face up against the losers of the semi-finals tomorrow. So that'll be the losers of Null versus.
They will be up against the losers of GLB Blue versus Manalite tomorrow.
Yes. Okay. And should after that, if that's a loss, and then that'll be a deciding game, right, to see who gets into the Premiership. That game would be deciding. Is that a best of 3?
It's a best of 1.
It's a best
the
of
lower
1,
bracket games are all best of 1. It's the upper bracket that's best of 3.
Yeah, so there's 2 best of 3 games, which is the Null and the Renegades game. Oh, nice charm. That's what I wanted to see from Vicky earlier on. The Null Renegades game and the Manalite versus GLB Blue game, which is actually an interesting matchup because we've seen that a few times before. And GLB Blue actually managed to beat Manalite last time round.
Get Giblet with the air package just charging up the river. Can't quite find his target though. Rift Herald could be an objective that TCA look for right now. I mean, there's no reason not to really. They're pretty significantly ahead right now. 7,000 gold. Heytung 6-0-1 already has 2 items plus boots. And look at the damage onto Selena Swift. If that chain had landed, that would have almost certainly been a kill. There we go, that's going to be Giblet picking up that Rift Herald buff, so now they can start to push down some of these lanes.
Yeah, and I'm trying to see where PRA get back into this. And it really is only getting that Fiora big enough so that no one can deal with her in a split push scenario, because that's what King Shul has been doing for the majority of the game, just split pushing on the Fiora, which is kind of what you need to do. It's gone for the Titanic Hydra. Yeah. So he's looking to be that little bit tankier in that lane versus the Malphite. Will mean he doesn't have the lifesteal to deal with the elongated trades. I'm kind of in 2 minds about the Titanic Hydra build on Fiora. I do like it in certain situations, but when you're going up against someone who's got a Sunfire Cape and an Iceborne Gauntlet, it actually might be better to have that lifesteal, because you're probably going to likely be in slightly elongated trades, and the lifesteal will help you, sustain either between them or during them. As I talk about it, the bottom lane, King Shul is going aggressive.
He is indeed. Fearless going to be able to use that unstoppable force to get away, but in the meantime, that tower is being pressured up in the top lane. Looks like Fearless might just be going down here, but the dive is going in onto Bartiono. He's going to get chained up. A nice 3-man knock-up, but it's not going to be enough to keep him alive in the meantime. We do see that Fearless did end up going down in the end, but this should be a tier 2 in the top lane in favour of Pariah.
Super hard chase going down there in that
TCA,
lane.
sorry, not Pariah.
Pariah chased very hard for that Malphite, burnt a lot of stuff for it as well, and then ended up losing that tier 2 tower as Sam Hodge has to be careful. He's locked up and forced to flash.
He is indeed. He's going to be able to escape from that one in the end, but very, very close on. Heytung just having his way with Pariah right now. He's just strolling around the map, doing whatever he damn well pleases.
80% of the kills, 60% of the kills are his, so 80% kill participation with 60% of kills just being his.
Yeah.
He's had a pretty stellar game. Although give it to PJ Cesar, despite the solo kills that Heytung has picked up, PJ Cesar has had a huge impact. Yeah. He practically got Heytung ahead by himself, exploited the RE pre-6, which Vicky was playing. Cesar maybe caught out. Good dodge onto Selena Swift here, and he will likely just head through to that dragon pit, keep himself safe.
Swim away through the river there, and will be able to get himself to safety. So aggressive positioning there. Would have been, had that red buff been up, that probably would have killed him, to be honest, if he'd committed to going for that. But is going to be able to get away with his life on that one, and not much of an answer really able to come out from Pariah to punish that aggressive play. But here we go. Baron going to be spawning in 10 seconds, and look at this positioning already coming out from TCA. They're looking to go for this on spawn, it looks like.
I think Pariah have an idea. They look like they are heading over with both Vicky and Bartionope. They're going to head
How do you
through.
check this? How do you face check this terrifying
Because
LeBlanc?
Malphite's bot, so you have to be fairly confident that you can get out of the LeBlanc combo. But you are right, they are tentatively trying to move away from this.
2,000 health on the Baron. They're going to start the fight. Bartiono tanking everybody up, but he can't do it for very long. The teleport going to be channeled here as Haytung is incredibly low, but Giblet, he's got the grand challenge on him, but King Shaw just can't go into the team. He's just not powerful enough yet, and PJ says are looking to finish him off. Haytung doesn't have any mana to finish anything right now, and that's going to be the chilling smite. Can they finish off this Fiora? It doesn't look like it in the end. Oh, one last auto attack. Haytung gets it.
He is the auto attack LeBlanc sniper this game. King Shaw preemptively using that riposte there for the Fiora, not before LeBlanc had used any of her abilities. Really should have had less of an itchy trigger finger on that one. Lots of wards defensively placed here for Pariah, so they're definitely trying to keep good control over their own jungle in that blue side. But the one positive, they did stop the Baron. That was very close to going down and forced TCA to react and turn off it. But you feel like...
At what cost?
Yeah, at what cost? But you feel like it's only slowly going against Pariah now. You know, this is a game that you feel is having the life sucked out of it.
Yeah.
And TCA are getting all the benefits.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like Pariah have had an advantage at all this game. It's just kind of slowly but surely them bleeding out here. And I mean, props to TCA. They're doing a fantastic job to just make sure that Pariah don't get kind of any lifelines. They're not giving them anything to get back into this game. And I mean, they get the pick, they get 2 kills off the back of it, and now they're looking to pressure onto these other lanes. There's only one tier 2 tower available right now in the hands of Pariah, and we'll see whether that is going to be one of the objectives they look for in the near future. Just going to be counter-jungling away, going to be taking away that red buff as well for Giblet. And now they head over towards this dragon.
Going to head towards this dragon. It's I believe their 3rd of the game. If they manage to take this one down, that'll give them some added movement speed. LeBlanc a little bit more versatile when looking for those picks left, right, and center. You can see she's now taken on a split push role because no one can single-handedly deal with the LeBlanc. So again, it's like we saw in the
0-2.
It's like we saw in the Renegades game. Ari took on that split push role.
Yeah, casual.
You wouldn't usually expect that to happen, but because she's so strong in a 1v1 right now, why not? You know, why not?
Yeah, absolutely. And here we go. Haytung just going to be, as you say, continuously split pushing away. And in the meantime, that just means that the rest of his team can start to clear away any vision that is around this Baron area. Giblet currently with the package under his wings. He's going to be looking to use it onto Selena Swift, who tries to get away, but is just not going to be able to. And that is a nice, easy, simple pickup for TCA. Another little bit of gold for them, but also, crucially, the jungle are dead.
The jungle are dead. Oh, you said jungler. I thought you said jungle are. I was like...
No, the jungler dead.
Yeah, the jungler
they've killed the jungler so that he can't smite. But
anyway,
TCA Raisins in a little bit of trouble. He's going to use that unbreakable will to tank up the culling. And Vixie, oh, there's the flash engage coming out from Fearless. Can they do anything with it? Bartiono trying to block with the unbreakable, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. King Shaw trying to get his grand challenge off, but look at the damage coming out from Haytung. He's going to grab himself a double. There's a kill over for Giblet as well. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you ace a team.
The Pariah are dead.
They are.
R.I.P. No, that's, again, it was so risky to go in for that stopping of the Baron. But I guess in this stage in the game, you had to make that play. They are at a point in the game where it is just desperate, and the only way they could potentially get back is turning a Baron fight around. You can even see Selena Swift in dire hope that a stray Javelin will pick up the Baron here, not to be the case. This is looking like, it's like when you have a wounded animal and you need to take them to the vets, and the vets say, I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do. This is kind of how Pariah are right now.
Pariah is certainly on life support.
They are definitely looking wounded right now. As a pause comes out with a beautiful pose.
Check out, yeah, the niddly animation.
Niddly animation, mid-pounce.
His prey. Selena Swift in the house. I don't know what that was.
Well, it's been a long day, ladies and gentlemen. So,
but yeah, so pretty close game here, 1-17. TCA with a slight 13,000 gold advantage at 24 minutes.
Yeah, slight, just small, smidgen of gold.
They're doing all right for themselves.
I'd say they're doing okay. Yeah, they've got a decent amount of control in the game.
Yeah, relatively decent. Yeah.
Why, guys? My face is not that exciting.
I think your face is very exciting, man.
It just I feel like our ESL Prem Grems have they have a nice fetish of throwing the camera to my face, so I have to look awkwardly at my face just down here somewhere. But
pull a face and make a meme.
Regardless, my face already somehow has populated several memes.
You've just got a very memeable face, that's all.
I'm not sure if that's a good thing.
But we're back onto the map.
We're back into game, thank God.
Let's head back onto the map here as we see PJ Cesar casually strolling through the enemy jungle once again. I've kind of seen him doing this a lot of the game so far, and I mean, rightly so. He's got no reason to fear anyone at this stage, getting very, very tanky. He already has a Randuin's as well as that Cinder Hulk. And yeah, he's just going to be feeling pretty comfortable right now. I'm interested to see what Haytung is going to go for here, whether he tries to go for a dive onto Sam Hodge, and as I say that, he does, and just one-shots him. Sam Hodge, there's nothing he can do.
Haytung is just in that position right now. 3 items, Rabadon's completed, King Shul the next target, TCA Raisins going in.
Yeah, good flash.
Forces the flash from King Shul.
Yeah, that's going to keep him alive, but that tower is going to be going down. That's the final tier 2, and with the Baron, with this split push that they've got going on, I mean, is there anything that you can do on the side of Pariah right now? Like, is there any ray of hope in your opinion?
No, very little. I don't like to be super negative, but and engage.
Here we go. Vixie is going to just be obliterated. Selena Swift trying to get onto the AT carry, but no such luck. Haytung is not done just yet. King Shul is going to be locked up by the Ethereal Chain. Sam Hodge has now respawned, though, so he's looking to try and get some damage out. But look at that. Grand challenge onto Haytung, but it's nowhere near enough. That's another kill coming across as we see Fearless pick up King Shul. And that might just be the game, to be quite honest. They've got their Baroned up minions. They've got 3 kills under their belt, and they're on to the Nexus Towers. Ladies and gentlemen, TCA, they're going to be taking our 6th and final game of the day. They're going to be moving up through the lower bracket. Commiserations to Pariah, who unfortunately have just been knocked out of the ESL UK Premiership.
Yeah, I mean, commiserations to the guys. Fantastic game by TCA. Yeah. Absolute whitewash. The quickest game we had today as well. 26 minutes.
Yeah, that was
29 seconds or something like that. Yeah, 26 minutes 29 was the quickest game of our day.